Well, alrighty. Hello, everybody. Come on in and welcome. You are watching HypocriticGG streaming live on Twitch and YouTube once again. I'm Lou. Some call me Cheat Speak, and we have a real fun one. So much fun planned tonight just for you. It's going to be great, and we know this because we're taking a look at a very cool game that we first covered back at PAX East this year, and now that it's right up in the run-up to its release, we are fortunate enough to have a pre-release kind of first look for you of indie rhythm action roguelite hybrid game Fresh Tracks. This is one that really caught our eye back at PAX East this year, like we said, and it's something else. So the best way to sort of illustrate that is to just kind of get right in and show you, because it really does mash together a bunch of different genres and gameplay mechanics that you might not expect to go together necessarily, but we have a very in-depth and fun look at the game for you here. We're going to sort of talk through our perspective on it, how we sort of stumbled upon it, you know, our initial opinions of it in all these different ways. And during our break, remind you of an interview we did with the creative director of the development studio that made this, Buffalo. His name's Patrick Owens. We'll play a little bit of that interview for you just to sort of give you some context as to how this whole thing came together. So like I said, this is an indie game that is kind of hard to describe, honestly. It mixes together action and fighting game elements. It mixes in music and rhythm elements. It's kind of a roguelite, but not really. Everything's in motion. The soundtrack is really rich and varied, and you kind of just have to experience it for yourself. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to start a fresh file here and just basically take it from the top so you can get an idea of exactly what this is and what it's all about. I'm going to kind of emphasize the music and the audio of this and maybe not talk as much throughout the main gameplay, just so you can sort of get a feel for how it all kind of connects and works. So we're gonna go for it right here. You'll already see that there's a bunch of different kind of difficulties to help shape the experience, as you might expect. Some of these bits of terminology: luck, damage, reflex, mercy of the mythics. It'll all make sense as we go along. You can almost think of it as like an easy, normal, heroic, and legendary kind of approach. I've been doing most of this on Explorer. I found that to be kind of the most common, reasonably accommodating one while still offering some challenge. Adventurer is pretty tough, even if you do like music and rhythm games.
As we say in Norwin, there were no story songs at all. Then, from the shimmering heavens of the Aurora Core, came the mythics. There was Sogvar, who delighted in the glory of great heroes. Thars and Dram, the masters of laughter and tears. Mar, the queen of terror. And finally, Coda, the voice of inspiration. Then, the story songs of Norwin began to wither, their melodies growing hollow and uninspired. Mar had seized control of the dreams of Norwin. Somewhere, amidst the snow-fallen forests and frost-crowned peaks, the story song of a champion was about to begin.
Intriguing. You're going to find what I've found so far is the lore and sort of the background of the very abstract and interestingly put together world that we're going to go through here is a lot deeper than you might expect from what on its surface looks like a fun little abstract music rhythm game. So we're going to bring that to bear a little bit. And probably hop right in here. Yes.
In the quiet of the Pinewood Forest, a ski-strapped adventurer named Sky heard a whisper. Sky uncovered a shattered sword, half buried in the snow and beating like a heart.
Look at that sword. Gonna come in very handy, it turns out.
When Sky struck to the rhythm, the blade gathered strength. Sky leaned into the music, gathering more whispers along the way. Coda called out to Sky.
I would dare to leave the shadows to feel your whispers guiding me. I'd get caught in constellations to bring your dreams to me. I would trek up every mountain to hear your voice sing in the breeze. I would crawl through every valley to bring you home to me. I've been dreaming heaven songs tonight. Won't let the darkness keep you from my side. Oh, I've been chasing whispers left and right. No hesitation. Whatever you say, I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you say. You're never lost. I'll find you wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you are.
The wilderness of Norin can be harsh and unforgiving. To survive, Sky must master the healing power of their rhythmic sword. I'm just gonna narrate it, and pretend I'm part of this, because we like to do that around here. Strike with perfect timing to charge the rhythmic. Time your swing and hit when the arrow turns white. Orange flashes are on beat, blue are off beat. So we're gonna do that.
The rhythmic blade pulsed with energy. It was ready to mend what was broken. A surge of warmth washed over Sky as their wounds were healed.
I've been dreaming heaven songs at night. Won't let the darkness keep you from my side. Oh, I've been chasing whispers left and right. No hesitation. Whatever you say, I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you say. You're never lost. I'll find you wherever you are, wherever you are. Whatever you say, I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you say. You're never lost. I'll find you wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you are.
Sky had earned the trust of Coda, the mythic of inspiration. But the other mythics would not be so easily won over. Sky's journey was just beginning.
Collect whispers to purchase items during journeys. Earn bonus whispers when you hit objects and pick up hearts. Journey to discover new story songs, equipment, and more. Pause the game to review tutorials and change settings at any time. So that's really the main thrust of it here, as you've probably gotten a taste for now. So it combines a lot of these different sort of action and rhythm game elements in what is a very sort of unbroken flow sort of experience, especially in the journey sessions here, which we're gonna dig into. That basically is you kind of going from landmark to landmark and song to song in one sort of straight streak, and having that sort of, like I said, unbroken flow to it, which is really interesting. Those are the main mechanics, sort of hopping from track to track, fresh tracks. It's a layered title. Striking at enemies or obstacles with your sword, crouching and leaning around to further dodge obstacles, and sort of combining all of that to make this sort of very rhythmically, musically inclined experience that is pretty unique. You know, when we did first see this at PAX East, the Media Blast for it caught our eye, and the idea seemed really interesting. And I remember getting so sucked into what may have been that tutorial song playing at the booth. It was really, really interesting. I should say, for disclaimers here as we get into this, this is being conducted on our Steam Deck, so that's the only kind of conduit to Windows-based games that I have. So if you are going to play this on other platforms, I believe it's coming out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on August 26th, so 5 days from now. We do have it early, and again, that's thanks to the developer slash publisher Buffalo, as well as Stride PR, who sort of organizes all this stuff. Full disclosure, again, which we do with all of our sort of pre-release reviews and games that we look at of this type. This is being conducted via a review key that was provided by those two entities. The thoughts, the impressions, and the opinions that we're sharing here tonight are entirely our own. We've received neither editorial guidance nor compensation from anyone associated with Fresh Tracks. They just gave us the game ahead of time to take a look at here on stream, and we will have a full kind of video review of it like we usually do right before the game comes out. I'm anticipating Sunday or Monday. That will probably be ready to go. Get that out of the way. We'll remind you of that as we move along, but this just was so cool when we saw it at PAX East. I in particular was really blown away by it. I'm a absolute junkie for music and rhythm games like this. I love and just have such an immense sort of satisfaction that I get out of ways that sort of those elements kind of sync up in your everyday life. You know when like you're playing a song and your turn signal in your car kind of syncs up with the beat of the song you're listening to, or some chime or some ding in your car is in the same key as the song. I love that kind of stuff. And it's just so satisfying, right? You get so much of that in Fresh Tracks. It is that feeling almost stretched into an entire game. And I think you'll see that as we go through different songs, and you'll see how much of it is sort of set to be on that beat if you're playing it properly and correctly. Not unlike something like, Guitar Hero. I've seen it kind of described as something like Beat Saber meets Rock Band or Guitar Hero. And while I don't know that that's super accurate, that is at least a kind of digestible way to summarize
stand a
it.
chance against Mar, Sky would first
So we're gonna
need
play
to
some more
recruit
here.
Sogvar, the mythic of adventure. Two paths.
So as you
led,
go on these
both
journeys,
leading to
you can kind of
Sogvar
pick
in
the
time.
track that you go
Which
on,
would
different
Sky
songs with different rewards and different difficulties. So we'll go over here first and show you another easy track here. And then you'll kind of see how the difficulty scales up as you go.
Though life in Norwin was harsh, it was also beautiful, unyielding, yet life-giving, and the people called it home.
Flying through this green escape, cypresses stretch out to new beginnings. Breathing in your serenade, flaming cardinals whistling the howling wind. Oh, teach me to be brave, fearless of this frigid storm.
And then as you can see, it tallies up how you did. It factors in how many of those whispers you got, how many times you got hit to deduct that from your score, and then kind of ranks you in those 6 levels there. So there's a charm that we just got. That's an extra air hop that we can do. And those charms, how you upgrade and attain different abilities, are where the kind of roguelite elements of the game come in and give it a little bit more of that depth as opposed to it just being this. So there are different ways that it does mix that gameplay up.
Same stretch over and over again.
We're mostly staying quiet during the gameplay so you can experience the full kind of zen and immersion of it.
Have you been before? Don't it look bigger through the door? Dear, dear, take a tour. Anything I show you'll adore. Don't walk into the light. Walk into the light. It'll blind your eyes in the night. Your eyes in the night are mine. To the birds flying by with wings spraying wide, they'll find you wherever you wander to. You know I wander to. There's so much left to do, and I'm so few, so few. You're late, you're late to a very special date. I'll wait, but only 'cause I'm still awake and ache for tea and carrot cake. My tardy amour. Quick, keep to the side and sway from side to side and slip to the slide to right on top of the tide. Down you go. Wherever you wander to, you know I wander to. There's so much left to do, and hours so few. Wherever you wander to, you know I wander to. There's so much left to do.
So there you go with that one. Not too bad. A little bit harder. I like that the difficulty of each song is represented almost like the difficulty of a ski slope. You have your greens, your blues, and your black diamonds, which I think is a cute touch and very thematic. So again, you sort of get a feel for some of those like kind of really abstract, vibey environments. It's very... I think it's a very striking art style. The vivid colors, the geometric kind of emphasis, and the kind of zen that you get going through, especially the very snowy and almost mystical forest-like environments. You'll see more of those as we go here. It's pretty cool. It almost reminds me of something like, if you've ever played Steep, Ubisoft's Steep game, and those sort of more almost like metaphysical or mystical elements where it's like the whispers of the mountains and all that. There is that sort of mysticism of skiing that a lot of these kinds of games can lean into from time to time. I think this does that really well. And you do have to sort of wrap your head around the mechanics a little bit, because it does task you with kind of multitasking in a lot of different ways, especially on harder levels and at higher difficulties, where you're moving between different tracks, you're crouching, you're jumping, and you're slashing or leaning all at the same time. So you really kind of need a good handle on the control scheme, how it works, how it all feels in motion. And it can take a few songs to really settle into the groove of it. And unfortunately, you can't kind of fully remap the controls either. You can play with it a little bit, but you can't fully reassign different functions to other buttons if you prefer jumping from track to track on the shoulder buttons of your controller, for example, instead of the D-pad or the control stick. You can't do that. So you kind of have to get as familiar as you can with the controls as they're presented to you to some degree. So we'll call out some of those little bits of it as well. Largely, though, I will say our experience with this has been really positive so far, and it's shaping up. I mean, we still have a lot of game to look at ahead of the review coming out, but it's a really unique time here. Here we go. Full Metal's here, jamming in the ski slopes. Now, that's right. There are, I should mention, different genres as well. So I think there's 4 different genres in total. There's the EDM sort of stuff that you've been hearing. There's metal. There's, I believe, I don't know if it's classical or orchestral or both, but there are 4 different genres that you ultimately go through, and I think some are a better fit for the aesthetic than others. You can ultimately be the judge of it, and you can see that all our stuff is pretty much kind of back to normal here tonight. So we've got a D20 from Full Metal. There she be. All this normal stuff is in full swing here tonight as well. So exclamation point D20, exclamation point, and then a color to change the lights behind me. It's all there. That's a 13, which is many dabs. So I got to roll my D12 here and give you 3 whole dabs. Good for you. 1 dab, 2 dab, 3 dab. Congrats. All right. So along the way here, you see we're on this kind of journey segment of it where you go from stage to boss fight to stage, whatever, kind of in that unbroken flow. We're still technically skiing in the background of it. And here you upgrade your character in different ways. So you can get these different charms and items that you can use. And again, these charms are where the roguelite elements of this come in. No Twitch, though. No, it should be up on Twitch, is it not? Did we goof again? We did goof. Okay, I know what it is. That's really unfortunate. But we can fix it. And that should be better. There you go. So I figured out what that problem was, by the way. I had previously been broadcasting and doing this stuff at a much higher bit rate than I guess Twitch normally encourages. I was at something like 10 or 12,000 kilobits per second. Normally, Twitch would just kind of throw a little like, oh, it's unstable, but let you do it. And now, I guess, if you go over that bitrate threshold, it just kicks your stream entirely. That's what the errors were. So that's annoying, and that's frustrating because that higher bitrate gives me really nice fidelity on YouTube in particular. Yes. So that is not ideal. And I'd like to figure out a way to address that. We shall see. You use Restream? Yes! Peeling back the curtain, we do use Restream. This was never an issue before, and it just kind of started becoming one. We'll see. YouTube and Twitch are synced now. Does that mean the same delay in chat? You tell me. All right, so like I was saying, these charms that you get, are your roguelite elements. So they slowly kind of upgrade and spec up stats and different bits of your character. So additional air hops or faster rhythmic charging like you see here. There's a bunch of other ones. Increased immunity to damage after you get hit, and that scales up and up and up, level 1, 2, 3. You lose all of those charms if you die and run out of health in the top left during any portion of your journey. So when you get into boss fights or deep into a run, you can lose it all and have to go figure that back out. So here we have our first boss character.
To win the favor of Sogvar, Sky needed to risk certain death. There was nothing Sogvar loved more than when a hero died for glory, and coming here alone was nothing short of madness.
Another body for the grave.
Ah, Sogvar. I was wondering when you'd arrive.
The tale of the Skald King is mine to unfold. For 1,000 years, an army of Skaldmen have been waiting in their icy tombs for one to venture forth unto the shadow blizzard. Come, they cried. Come and die in glorious battle!
Oh my goodness. What's up, everybody? Luke from Hypocritic here, back on the show floor at PAX East 2025. We are here with Patrick, the creative director of Fresh Tracks here at Buffalo. Thanks so much for taking some time.
Yeah, no problem. So Fresh Tracks is a music adventure game where you're skiing deeper and deeper into the forest. We're really high on immersion. We just want to make an experience that has amazing music that just sucks you in with amazing art. And we do a lot of amazing things with adaptive audio where the music is just kind of developing more like a DJ set rather than, like a jukebox like most music games might be.
And there is so much to dig into in terms of presentation and gameplay, so I want to try to cover it all.
Yeah.
Let's start with the actual mechanics. So not necessarily strictly just a music game or just a rhythm game. I think you described it more of an adventure game in that holistic context.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how that concept came to be in the first place and how you started integrating those adventure and gameplay elements with the sort of timing and rhythm and music elements?
Yeah. As you said, a little bit difficult to explain because there's a lot there, but it all kind of fits in one cohesive package. For me, the initial seed of inspiration is I spend a lot of time out in nature. I'm a winter sports guy. I don't ski that much, but I do know how to ski. I snowboard more. But I've always felt there's this natural rhythm to being out there and, either walking or just skiing side to side. And I always thought that might be a really compelling way to create something that is an extremely immersive game that just kind of keeps sucking you in. And I know that music also kind of has that power to suck you in as well. So, I started thinking about a lot, how do you connect those and combine those, and how do you create a visual presentation that really just draws you in as well. Yeah.
And as all of those elements sort of came together, I imagine there's a lot of iteration, a lot of trial and error to sort of feel out what the general vibe of the game is, how it's presented, how do the mechanics all flesh together. Can you talk about that development process in terms of bringing, some of the leaning and the ducking and the jumping mechanics alongside some of the rhythm elements and how it all sort of coalesced?
Yeah, exactly. So I started making the proof of concept by myself, which was basically a somewhat working version of the game that tested the core mechanics. Just kind of got this idea of story going along with audio, and I was able to figure out a lot from that, but really honing in on the exact mechanics to do what really fit best. It was really kind of a process of doing a lot of user testing, a lot of internal testing as well, and just really paying attention to what resonated with people in a way. I consider us to be more of a music game, kind of like Hi-Fi Rush, rather than a strict rhythm game like DDR or Guitar Hero, because there's a lot of mechanics to explore and master as well. Yeah.
And one word that I would use to describe the entire experience, which we may have said already, was seamless.
Yeah.
And how you sort of just flow from one song to the next, and everything is sort of in motion.
Yeah.
Very difficult to do convincingly, where you
Alrighty, our apologies there, but I think we're back and we're gonna be good to go here. So that was a fun example of our stuff crapping out on us. My entire USB hub that I use to route like everything through, the capture card, the everything else, just completely died. So everything broke, and that's good. And I guess the capture card is still not going to display for us, is it? Let's see what we can do about that. This is going to be riveting stuff, and exactly when I wanted this to happen as we're doing a preview here. But I've learned this week, if nothing else, that technology is going to fail when you need it to work the most, and most of us know that and have been aware of that forever, right? But it's just extra sweet and fun to see it happening in real time. We love that. So let's get back to that point in the interview that I stopped it at. It's probably going to loop in, so we're going to get back to whatever question I was asking because I can't hear it. And once we have this all set up and ready to go for you, we will return to the gameplay. And it's a good boss fight, so we gotta try that again. So you're watching HypocriticGG streaming live on Twitch and YouTube. I'm Lou, I'm Cheatspeak, and we are in the middle of this pre-release first look at indie action rhythm game Fresh Tracks. More of it when I can get it back on the screen. Bear with us.
What's up, everybody? Lou from Hypocritic here, back on one song to the next, and everything is sort of in motion.
Yeah.
Very difficult to do convincingly, where you have that one unbroken flow. I think flow is another very good sort of overarching term for the whole experience. So from a technical perspective, can you talk about some of the tools and tricks that you're using to create that seamless experience, both in terms of gameplay and in terms of the audio?
Yeah, so we do a lot of different things. We had to create a custom level designer, or chunk designer as we call it, that allows us to kind of work on one song at a time in an adaptive kind of way. So even if the background music changes, we can design a level that works for both types of tracks. A lot of mock-ups. I've spent so much time just like doing video mock-ups of like, this song goes after this song, and this is how it would transition, and this is how I envision the environment to change as well. On the back end, we use Fmod to do our adaptive audio, and we use Unity, but a lot of custom tooling that we built to make it all possible.
I would imagine. And also in terms of seamlessness, we've mentioned story a couple of times, and how a narrative integrates into all of that, again, while you're physically in motion, most if not all of the time.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the overarching kind of story of the game, how some of the different characters fit into it, how they tie into the mechanics, and again, how that sort of blends in with the seamless presentation?
Yeah. I'll start with my inspiration from that. There's this song by the Gorillaz that's got a famed actor Dennis Hopper in it, where he tells a story over the course of the song, and I always thought that was really interesting. I was like, well, you could do that for like a larger story if you considered a game to be an entire like DJ set or like an album almost. So in this game, the world is heavily inspired by Scandinavian folklore. It's an original world, but it's kind of got that feel. I'm not talking about Norse mythology. This is not Thor. I'm talking more like 1800s, like wooden skis, stuff like that. But in this world, story and music are highly, highly associated. So you are basically recruiting these different storytelling gods who each tell stories through music, and you know, they each have an associated genre as well. So you have the god of pop, you have the god of metal music, and they all have certain types of stories that you hear. But in this game, basically the narration just has a little soundbite at the beginning of each song, and it drops a little bit of lore. Adds great vibes for people who don't care about story, but yeah.
Vibes is, I think, a
Well,
key
thank
word
you,
there, too.
Patrick. We will be back to him, I'm sure, as the night goes on. That interview is available for you anytime on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching on there, or if you would like to go over, you can see our entire interview with creative director of Fresh Tracks and Buffalo in general, Patrick Owens. Apologies for the delays here, and we appreciate your patience with the technical difficulties. Xerox has a D20, so here we go. That is a 2, and in a very classy fashion, which is what we love to do with pre-release gameplay up on screen, a fart noise just for you. We are back with the game, though, and we are good to go, jumping right back in.
The Skull King howled with rage as our hero advanced, ordering his Skullmen to bring him the intruder's head. Who are you? The Skull King cried. Who dares to trespass in Ironhelm?
I am Sky, came the reply. And I am Norwyn's champion.
The hero evaded the enemy's blades, cutting down any who stood in their path. You are but a knight in borrowed armor, cried the Skull King. I was Norwyn's champion once, beloved by all. I built these walls to guard my glory. Then the blizzard came and buried them all. If you truly are the hero you say, stand before the shadow blizzard and live to tell the tale.
So, with great skill and tenacity, Sky answered the Skull King's challenge and endured the Shadow Blizzard.
Hey, wait, where are you going?
We're continuing on the journey, Sogvar.
A journey? Please, let me come. Oh, please, I can narrate the deeds of a great hero.
Very well. Sogvar will now be Sky's mythic companion. Sogvar will have his own story songs and perspective on the world of Norwyn.
Let us return to the first page and ink this legend in the blood of our enemies.
So you can see, even on what are the more kind of casual
Once
difficulties,
upon a rhyme,
it's not
as we
easy.
say in Norwyn, Sky found themselves back on the edge of the endless forest. Now in the glorious company of Sogvar, the mythic of adventure.
So you'll see also, as you progress through the story and through that journey mode, the different mythic companions that will join you will rotate through and mix things up a bit in a couple different ways. Obviously, the narration changes. So as you go through familiar stages that you've played before, the same songs, the same boss fights, they will have different commentary that sort of peels back more of the lore of the world, gives a different kind of perspective as you're playing through, which is good for replayability because, at least as I've seen so far, the game does have you retread the same ground multiple times as that journey that you're on in that mode gets longer and longer. It seems like you replay the same beginning sections repeatedly. So having that variety in there does help from it getting too stale, although it does get a little bit repetitive as you go. And then things like the abilities that your sword can have will change depending on which mythic you have. So there's enough kind of variety in there to make that continued trek through worth it.
Yet our hero was not ready to confront Mar, the Queen of Terror. First, they would need to seek out farce and drum, the mythics of laughter and tears.
Okay. My pal's back. Hey, Vinny, yes. All right, so we are back at it here. As it says, survive a boss song to reveal new parts of your map, allowing you to venture farther on future journeys. Triumph, and you'll also recruit powerful new mythics to aid you on your quest. You can purchase skis and more at the equipment merchant. Collect charms to enhance your abilities and grow stronger just on that one particular journey that you're on. Collect Echos. Is that how you say that? To purchase equipment and story songs in the hub world. So those candy-looking pickups that you see as you go along, you can use, as it says, to not only get equipment, but in the overall kind of hub world and in the standalone play whatever stage you want mode, I think it's called the Lark, you can spend that in-game currency, basically, on songs to play whenever you want at whatever difficulty you want. So you can see now the journey goes to a second portion of the map, but you do start back from the beginning seemingly every time. So you have to go through 2 songs in the forest, beat that boss again, and then go to the next part of it. So like you can see here, you know, you get new abilities, new song variations, and lore. You'll encounter, I think, different songs throughout depending on the mythic you have with your skis as well. So if we go over to equipment here, you can see that. We have a couple different mythics we can choose from now. There's, you know, others, and there's more that we can get as well. So Coda makes it a little easier, where the boss songs, you know, you can heal at any time if you're charged up, which is good. You do get 1 extra heart with Sogvar, but you lose that heal. And then here you can see a bunch of different skis you can have that have different variations on things. So in this case, we'll buy this one to start with an extra 100 whispers for the store.
Paths the gods would fear to tread.
There's one thing I want to double check though, because in the materials, they talk a little bit more about the voice cast that they have, which I didn't really know much about prior to starting to dig into it this week. So let me confirm something for you here. Yes, so the voice acting, I think, is pretty on point, and it's a pretty cool cast of folks here. So there's Michael Antonakos from Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Gotham Knights, Ian Hamlin from Sonic Prime and Lego Jurassic World, Sayara Morgana from Starship Troopers Extermination and Super Team Canada, Bethany Brown from The 100 and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and who you've just heard as Sogvar, I'm pretty sure, the legend that is Peter Stormare from Fargo, Until Dawn, John Wick, what's the Command and Conquer Red Alert 3, if you've played that. He's in LA to Vegas. He's in so much. He's an incredible actor. So I heard his voice when I was first playing through this and got to the Sogvar bit, and I was like, oh my god, that's Peter Stormare, and I was right. So that was very exciting for me. All right, we're gonna go back on the journey mode here, and we're gonna use Sogvar.
Once more, Sky set forth.
So you can hear what that's like.
Beginning anew. Now Sky would need to recruit Fars and
So there's an
Trap,
expert,
the mythic
double
of
black
laughter
diamond,
and
which I
tears.
don't know about. May not want to do that. We're gonna go medium for this one, and you can see it's a different song as well. So let's see what that's like. I think this is one that's more metal oriented and not, yeah.
Silence, and hearken ye to the tale of Annika, Spear of Norwin. Her hair was white as snow, her eyes viridian, her skin shone like the scales of a salmon queen. She was as fierce as the river in a spring thaw, as mighty as the roiling waters which carry timbers out to sea.
The river calls to heaven, George, you must seek on the edge now.
Had to cheese that one a little bit. I don't think we've seen a hard one yet, so let's give that a try.
The Aurora core of old was a wondrous and eternal place, a metaphysical kingdom beyond all mortal reckoning.
Flying through this green escape, cypresses stretch out to new beginnings. Breathing in your serenade, flaming cardinals whistle in the howling wind. Teach me to be brave.
Now, I think we've seen this song already, but now we're at a different difficulty.
Give me strength to stay. Unyielding, unwavering, unbending, unbreakable. You're my fantasy, emerald dynasty, my eternally. How could I
You can hear how the collectibles time up and sync up with the song too. Sounds like they're part of the song, which we love.
Your strength is my medicine, always grounding me, never surrendering. Teach me to be brave, fearless, selfless, frigid stone. Give me strength to stay, unyielding, unwavering, unbending, unbreakable. You're my fantasy, emerald dynasty, my eternally. How could I ever be
There we go. So I will say, when it all sort of clicks together for you and you get into that almost flow state of fully vibing with the song and recognizing what's coming and getting all the controls to kind of mesh together, it is just an almost transcendent kind of feeling. You get so wrapped up and lost in the vibe. It is, especially if you enjoy rhythm games and that sort of experience where a lot of things are attuned to the beat and to everything syncing up with each other. Like I was saying before, it almost feels like that thing of where a chime or a ding in your car is in the same key or matches up with a song you're listening to, or when your turn signal syncs up with the BPM of a track. Those little incidental bits in life that you just kind of love. Imagine that almost stretched out into gameplay mechanics, and that's really what a lot of this feels like. And it's a ton of fun. Obviously, there are some nitpicks and some concerns. Maybe we'll dig into some of them as we go here. But we got a D20 from Vince first. Yeah, we are vibing. That's right. Did we get the Ski Freak Yeti attack yet? No, there's been no Yetis. I don't know if there are Yetis. You know, I haven't gotten too far in this myself just yet. That is a 5. That is a 5. So that's a funny face. Oh, you're going to get one. You ready? Yay! there's your face. Ow. That one hurt a little. All right, let's go. So we get to go to the merchant to upgrade some charms here, and there's only one option here. Increases the number of rhythmic charges. All right, so we have a bunch of charms going now. So now we go back into the boss fight that we just saw. We have a D20 coming in. We'll do that real quick as we queue up the next boss here. That's a 1, so we'll go to the bad place.
Sky
Oh,
had
goody.
tread this frozen battlefield before, but never with Sogvar. Let me take you to a time before the Skull King, to the legend of Sir Gregory the Grey, Dragon Breaker.
You can see it's already different from the last time we did it. It's more metal inspired now, which makes sense.
Once upon a rhyme in Norwin, as they say, a dragon with eyes of deepest coal enshrouded the land, and his great wings suffocated the light of the sky. Resin, the dragon demanded of the people as a ransom for the sun's return. The people turned to their champion, Sir Gregory the Grey, slayer of beasts. But dragons are no mere beasts, and Sir Gregory knew this fight would cost him his life. His greatest fear, the fear of death, seized his heart. Then before him shone a sword, a mighty rhythmic, luminous and musical. This rhythmic was called Firebrand, a gift from the mythic Sogvar.
Yikes.
The dragon circled high above, its freezing breath ready to rain down great misery. And then, by the glow of Firebrand's light, a daring plan ignited within Sir Gregory's mind. He fled towards the dark caves beneath Still Mountain. With a thunderous roar, the dragon gave chase! Sir Gregory sealed the dragon under Still Mountain and raised the fortress Ironhelm to guard the pass. But in time, proud ambition led Sir Gregory to commit deeds so vile, I can no longer sing
we did
his
it.
song. But Dram can tell you more of Sir Gregory and the tragic tale of how he became the Skald King. Even the bravest warriors need a moment to think.
All right, I got to take a second after that one because couple of things. So first of all, what did we say in the comments here? Pal throwing so many hands, a lot of thoughts on the bad place, which we are now resigned to when we do the next D20s. That was a lot. And now you see, I kind of had to cheatsy doodle that with the new sword that they give you, because when you go into that like throw hands mode and you just start whipping the fire all over the place, you're invincible. So I can't imagine trying to navigate that section normally, because there's very few invincibility frames. So you were just chewing through your health. I made it through with one hit left, basically cheesing the entire way. So that is, if there's anything that I'm really zeroing in on initially as points of contention, let's say, Polar Express. Yeah, welcome. Choo choo. Here we are. But any points of contention, some of those sections, even on the more modest difficulties, like we're on the equivalent of normal. Like I was saying, there's 4 difficulties if you think of it as easy, normal, heroic, legendary. Pulling out the Halo analogy here. You, even on normal or easy, it scales you up to much, much harder fights and sections than you would normally face in those difficulties. So it kind of tasks you to get good, more or less. And because of how complex the controls can get, that's sometimes challenging. And at least in what we've seen so far, I had yet to clear that part. So this is all uncharted territory for me now. What's tough about it is if you die during that journey even once, you are sent back to the very beginning. As far as I've seen, it doesn't checkpoint you. So if I were to make it to that next boss fight, I think, and fail for whatever reason, I think I get kicked all the way back. So I have to do, 4 stages and 2 boss fights again. Let's test that theory. But if that is true, that is probably the biggest issue that I've seen so far, is that progression is kind of unforgiving in what on the surface doesn't feel like a particularly hardcore game, but it kind of does get there, especially in a lot of the more challenging stages. This looks neat. Yes, Fort, it is neat. And we have the content and the chops to prove it here. So let's get back to it. And let's take, we only have half health here, so we gotta kind of be delicate here. One tap without healing up, which I think we'll be able to do if I charge. I'm back to the regular sword.
Chronicler Oddvar Malmström dare to venture where few would tread into
this
the
health?
ruins
No.
of the Aurora Core.
Echo, echo in my head, whispers of an ancient land. Won't you take my hand? In stories you stay.
The world
See?
dissolved into a chaos of howling winds. When the storm cleared, Sky was back where the journey began, though their whispers and charms had been lost to the storm.
When your strength fails you, the blizzard puts you back to the outskirts, sparing you from the icy grip of death. But beware, your whispers and charms are lost to the storm. So all of the collectibles that you have up to that point during that run, you drop. And I think you can pick some of them back up if you get to the point where you lost them. Yes, follow the gear recovery icon to recover a portion of dropped whispers and charms in the story song Sky Last Fell. So you have to encounter that song again whenever it pops up to get them back. Each mythic has their own unique telling of each boss song, which we saw. Journey to different boss songs with different mythics to discover new stories and unique items like that sword. As the Mythic of Inspiration, Coda has the easiest version of each boss song, which I think we saw. Beating a boss song with a mythic unlocks shortcuts for future journeys with that mythic. Okay, so maybe that's how you kind of speed back to where you were. Take the shortcut at the expense of missing valuable items and merchants. So maybe we can do that. Damage Reflex grants a short burst of invulnerability after taking damage, which we desperately need with some of these sections. Sky will not take additional damage while the Damage Reflex icon is on screen. The Firebrand Sword, which we just saw, grants invulnerability and a perfect timing fire attack, now available in the Equipment Merchant, so we can equip that if we want. And there's also the skis that allow for more damage reflex, which I'm going to apply, because I have the
May they glide like falcons,
candy for
not
it.
goats.
And there you see different swords. So restores 3 heart containers, invulnerability, and perfect timing. Better for those kind of sections where they're just throwing everything possible at you. Higher chance of health pickup, so balancing those out. More health pickups with invulnerability, maybe that works out a little better. Easier boss songs. So maybe we go back to Coda just to get a little farther here. And let's see how we do. So now, as you see, we are all the way back and we got to start it again. So this is a narrative rhythm game. Yes, Fort. So let's summarize here. And this is a good chance to kind of level set on where we are. This is Fresh Tracks. This is an action rhythm roguelite game and an indie title from a studio called Buffalo Buffalo up in the actual Great White North of Canada, I believe. And I've heard it kind of described as like Beat Saber meets Guitar Hero, which is true, but it's also not. And you've sort of seen how gameplay works. It's all, you know, music and rhythm driven, but there is a deep narrative component, like you said. There's a lot of lore built in here, and it sort of fleshes out the Nordic-inspired world that you're in and how all the sort of different ancients came to be and all the different mythics that are with you and how the world kind of evolved over time, which I think is pretty cool. Obviously, you know, it's very heavily influenced by that kind of flow state you get in these sort of abstract natural environments, which is neat. So it's a cool kind of combination of different elements, and it's not a very traditional.
Must have a beginning, and ours sets out from a snowy evergreen glade.
Did I not change all of this stuff? I guess not. So we do have all our charms still, it looks like. I thought those were dropped as well.
The villagers dance as if every step might shake the heavens themselves.
Every night and every day, the rhythm never goes away. You know, winner takes the prize when you're trapped inside the game. Every day and every night, need you with me by my side. I can feel it in my veins. We gon' dance until the light, like a moth into a flame. Don't feel love, don't feel pain. No more wrong,
man. That is tough. So that was a hard level track. You see, the leaning tends to get me more than anything else. That's hard to put together in the midst of everything else. Medium evergreen with damage reflex. We love that. Level 3. Longer invulnerability after taking they club and windows got lights. Yeah.
The story songs gave form to the mythic's will, only for their creation to fade like paintings in the sand, swept away by the tide of their restless imagination.
Flying through this green escape, cypresses stretch out to new beginnings. Breathing in your serenade, flaming cardinals whistle in the howling wind. Teach me to be brave.
So I think this is what, our third time going through this particular song. The leans really throw me off.
Unyielding, unwavering, unbending, unbreakable. You're my fantasy, emerald dynasty, my evergreen. Towering eternally, how could I ever be
This feels like cake compared to the other one.
rising adrenaline, burning up the icy surrounding me. Your strength is my medicine, always grounding me, never surrendering. Teach me to be brave, fearless, selfless, frigid storm. Give me strength to stay. Unyielding, unwavering, unbending, unbreakable. You're my fantasy, emerald dynasty, my evergreen. Towering eternally, how could I ever be evergreen? You're my fantasy, emerald dynasty, my evergreen. Towering eternally, how could
Nice. Nicely done. All right, so it is going to make us do that boss again. Another charm, so that's got to carry us through. We have two heals stacked up, so hopefully that's going to be enough here. All right, we got to get a D20 going here. What did we say? Surprised me that they included leans in there. A lot of depth to the tracks. Yes. How's Twitch going? Still good? It is up and it is good. Okay. Yeah, so... Where was I here? Yes. The leans are what kind of get me in trouble more than anything else, if I'm being honest. It is a little tough to do it all simultaneously. We're actually in the bad place, aren't we? So it's even worse. History lesson. I don't even remember what this one means. Wow, that's we've been going to the bad place quite a bit, but I do not remember what history lesson means. So let's I'm gonna fuse it with story time a little bit. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna roll a D1, you know, the D10 with the numbers on it, the double-digit numbers. So I'll talk for that many seconds. Yes, tell me a gaming history lesson. That's what I'm gonna do for 10 seconds. So how do I condense down? Well, we can keep it thematic, and we can give you our history of... I was going to say the history of Fresh Tracks in 10 seconds, but I probably can't do it justice off the top of my head. And you probably heard from the creative director about it already. So 10 seconds of Nintendo gaming history, and go. Nintendo's made lots of video games starting in the 1970s and 1980s. Nintendo has made many generations of consoles, many classic IP, including Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Pikachu, Ekans, Arbok. Done. That's all you're getting. How'd I do? I think that was beautifully done. All right, so we got to go through this again here. Unless the capture card audio craps out again. Oh my god. All right, we're going to lose the feed here again, unfortunately.
What's up, everybody? Luke from Hypocritic.
Here, but in this game, basically the narration just has a little soundbite at the beginning of each song, and it drops a little bit of lore. Adds great vibes for people who don't care about story, but yeah.
Vibes is, I think, a key word there too.
Yeah, vibes, seamlessness, and flow. It's
all sums it up really nicely. And in terms of again all of that, the vibe is very distinct. A lot of the narration that you see in the demo is very soft spoken. It's almost dreamlike and ethereal in a way.
Yeah.
And I think that translates to the visuals as well. You're in this very sort of soft, almost ethereal world, like I said, and that translates with, you know, some of the effects when you chop down a tree, for example, or you jump over something. Can you talk about refining the visual style of the game and how that presentation works with everything else?
Yeah, so originally I was heavily inspired by two Scandinavian artists named Theodore Kittelsen and John Bauer. And they did a lot of great paintings of Scandinavian folklore. This actual kind of initial style that you see here is kind of similar to their initial paintings. So we did a very iterative process. We landed on some pinewood forest that we wanted to start with. But as you explore more, the world gets more magical as well. And you know, it was a trick to kind of figure out how do you make it in a way that feels convincing, that feels good to be in, that doesn't take a million years to develop every single art asset as well. Our art team's amazing. They've figured out a lot of things. Kinha, our art director, just a genius, yeah.
So much new and unique that this game is trying and bundling all these different elements together. As you're going through the development process, we mentioned off camera, quite a few years in development, active development at this point. What were maybe some of the things throughout the process that surprised you or the team or challenged you and the team the most, maybe in ways you didn't expect? What was that process like?
I think one of the big...
Ooh, suspense. No answer to that question. Sorry. Again, that full interview with Patrick Owens is up on our YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, we've been showing bits and pieces here as our equipment steadily craps out throughout the night. Apologies for the difficulties here. I did figure out what seems to be the issue, though, so this is interesting. You've noticed the capture card kind of gives up, or has been giving up at certain times. The audio cuts out. Trying to plug it back in kind of like disables that hub for a while. So it just happened with a second one. So I went and replugged everything into the original USB hub that I had, and now everything's fine again. So whatever's happening with this specific capture card kind of hiccuping is taking that device down for a while. I don't know.
So that'll be fun to troubleshoot later between Twitch and like Lumia and Restream and capture cards. This is complicated, folks. Streaming's a fun endeavor here, but we hope you're having fun regardless. This has been not an ideal night for technical difficulties, certainly, but a fun one nonetheless, because if you're just tuning in, you are watching HypocriticGG, streaming live on Twitch and YouTube. I'm Lou, some call me Cheatspeak, and we have a special pre-release first look at the new indie action rhythm roguelite game, Fresh Tracks, for you. This is one from the debut game, I believe, from indie studio Buffalo out in Canada, and one that we absolutely loved when we stumbled upon it at PAX East this year back in May in beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. So found it kind of our own accord, and they were nice enough to give us kind of a review copy and early access to it so we can stream it for y'all here and have a full review of it published come probably Sunday or Monday before the game launches on August 26th. So 5 days away, just about. It's gonna be 4 in a little bit here. We're ticking into Friday here slowly on the East Coast. Just as a reminder, so everyone's aware of how this is all happening, we are currently playing. Again, this is pre-release preview code, a review copy that was given to us by the developers Buffalo and Stride PR, who's sort of managing all the kind of marketing and things of that nature, including review codes and content creator things, etc. This is on our Steam Deck, since that's my conduit to Windows games here at my version of Hypocritic HQ. So this will probably look and run better on your own system when it releases on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on August 26th. For total clarity and transparency, again, we do have this review copy courtesy of them, but all of the thoughts and opinions and assertions here that you're hearing tonight and that you will hear in our review in a few days are entirely our own. This is strictly because we thought the game was really interesting, loved it at PAX East, and they were nice enough to bring us into the fold here. We have received neither editorial guidance nor compensation from anyone associated with Fresh Tracks. So once again, all of this pre-release coverage and the upcoming review is entirely independently our own thoughts and opinions. We value that here at Hypocritic, and we know you do too. Back at it, y'all. Boss fight time. You're not sick of this one yet? You do it over and over and over
Back
again.
for more.
So this is going to be harder.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Great.
Let me take you to a time before the Skull King, to the legend of Sir Gregory the Grey, Dragon Breaker.
The technical difficulties were the friends we made along the way.
Once upon a rhyme in Norwin, as they say, a dragon with eyes of deepest kohl enshrouded the land, and his great wings suffocated the light of the sky. Resin, the dragon demanded of the people as a ransom for the sun's return. The people turned to their champion, Sir Gregory the Grey, slayer of beasts. But dragons are no mere beasts, and Sir Gregory knew this fight would cost him his life. His greatest fear, the fear of death, seized his heart. Then before him shone a sword, a mighty rhythmic, luminous and musical. This rhythmic was called Firebrand, a gift from the mythic Sogvar.
It's a lot.
The dragon circled high above, its freezing breath ready to rain down great misery. And then, by the glow of Firebrand's light, a daring plan ignited within Sir Gregory's mind. He fled towards the dark caves beneath Still Mountain. With a thunderous roar, the dragon gave chase! Sir Gregory sealed the dragon under Still Mountain and raised the fortress Ironhelm
Cheese that again,
to
I think.
guard the pass. But in time, proud ambition led Sir Gregory to commit deeds so vile. I can no longer sing his song, but Dram can tell you more of Sir Gregory and the tragic tale of how he became the Skald King.
So we just did Echo, so we're gonna die in the same place. Can I skip him? Because I can't heal until I charge this back up. Unless I get lucky and find some hearts right at the start here.
The famous chronicler
One hit's
of
gonna
the
kill us
Maelstrom
again.
was said to have kept meticulous journals filled
It
with
would be
maps
nice
and
if it would
notes
heal
of
you right
places
after the boss
no
fight.
one dared to follow him to.
Alright, we gotta heal at least.
Echo in my head, whispers of an ancient land. Won't you take my hand? In stories you stay with me. I want you to stay with me. Patiently, I need you to write for
You gotta be
There was
kidding
but
me.
a stepping stone on the path to glory.
Not every story song is easy to tell. Hop aboard the Lark to practice tougher story songs or chase a higher performance score. So this is where you can go play any track that you want. So once again, because that boss fight is so intense, even on like what is close to easy difficulty, it's pretty silly. I will say, if there's anything that's really holding this back, it is the fact that as you need to progress through journey mode to get the rest of this, dying at any point sets you all the way back to the beginning. And I didn't see a single shortcut when we went through that. So that is profoundly
Sky's courage
frustrating.
grew, steady and sure.
Otherwise, it's a very, very fun game, and I've been having a blast with it. But there are these sort of issues that I've been talking about where it gives you a little bit of pause, especially that, you know, a couple of the major things I've called out, starting the journey all the way from the beginning, even if you get past that first boss fight. Not being able to fully remap the controls is troublesome too, because that's where I'm kind of fumbling the most, is incorporating those leans in alongside moving from path to path and swinging. It's a lot to sort of coordinate at once, and ideally you want to have that control setup that accommodates that as best as possible, because it is kind of your progression gate in being able to do these things with not a whole lot of accommodation, meaning you're gonna have to go through those medium or hard, you know, especially the harder ones at some point. So I don't know, it's pretty challenging. So like I said, this is, you know, I've done this probably 4 or 5 times by now, and I have not gotten past the first stage after that boss fight on medium difficulty. Oh, this one again.
Every night and every day, the rhythm never goes away. You know, winner takes the prize when you're trapped inside the game. Every day and every night.
I do wish the leans were a little bit better telegraphed too. Like, you see the light pole thing leaning to the left or right a little bit. When you're moving fast and there's a lot coming up in front of you, it's really hard to tell where you're supposed to be leaning. And that can be challenging. Like that.
Keep on moving, keep on grooving, never break it, never beg for the motion, feel it growing, there's a beat inside my head, I can't stop it, never drop it, I got it in the pocket, there's endless rhythm, and endless sound, sun comes up, and sun goes down, dress for the test when the beat's gonna go and your feet can't rest high, hit it, don't quit, you gotta push it to the limit, every hour, every minute high.
hard is no joke, folks. The warriors just cutting a rug on the crates up there. There are a lot of cute environmental touches, that is true. Do we dare try another hard? I think we do. We heal up. This is a new one, too.
When the Mythics first found the early humans of Norway,
Oh, I know
they
this.
were still huddled in caves, shivering against the cold. There, Coda whispered a story song into the dreams of a young girl. The girl followed the voice out of the cave and saw the shimmering stars over Norwin. The child danced.
You get your lore. Oh, this was the tutorial song. That's right.
I would dare to leave the shadows to feel your whispers guiding me.
This is a fair bit harder than it was.
Constellations to bring your dreams to me. I would trek up every mountain to hear your voice singing in the breeze. I would crawl through every valley to bring you home to me. I've been dreaming, hearing songs at night. Won't let the darkness keep you from my side. Oh, I've been chasing whispers left and right. No hesitation now. Whatever you say, I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you say, you're never lost. I'll find you wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you are. When you're weak, I'll be your shelter. Hold you close to gravity. No, this world could never take you anywhere far from me. I've been dreaming, hearing songs at night. Won't let the darkness keep you from my side. Oh, I've been chasing whispers left and right. No hesitation now. Whatever you say, I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you say, you're never lost. I'll find you wherever you are, wherever you are. Whatever you say, I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you say, you're never lost. I'll find you wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you I've been dreaming, hearing songs at night. Won't let the darkness keep you from my side. Oh, I've been chasing whispers left and right. No hesitation now. Whatever you say, I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you say, you're never lost. I'll find you wherever you are, wherever you are. Whatever you say, I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you say, you're never lost. I'll find you wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you are.
Not as bad this time. Nice! Applause. We go with the merchant. All right, we got a D20. Good time for that. Escape velocity. Back to the bad place. Do we get out of it? Oh, I gotta fix the... Yep.
Because that all resets whenever it unplugs. There we go. That is a 14. Godzilla time! Oh, that's great on a pre-release night. Absolute hero status. We are trying our best. So normally Godzilla time would entail me like jumping into the background and like clawing at the bed and like screaming and shrieking like a monster verse hero would. I will substitute that one in to be polite to all of you. Imagine just like, we've done it before, I think, where I'm just like clawing at stuff and throwing it and whatever. I will sub out for that one. So 14 in the regular one would be sink into floor. So that's what we're gonna do. Just to be polite, we're going down here. What if I had to do the whole boss fight again from down here? Remember we did this last time? I popped in and then hello. That's where we are. Hi. Camera does a great job of tracking me. So that's fun. Okay. So we gotta... I'm sorry we gotta do this boss fight yet again. So what do we have here? Increases the number of rhythmic charges. Oh, I can have 3 stacked up. That would actually be super, super helpful. So let's do that.
A cold wind rose, and Sky found themselves approaching the ruins of Ironhelm.
Hopefully we
Many
do this
heroes
one
had
more
come this way
time.
Before, but the first
We won't
was
have to do
young
it again for a
Gregory
little bit.
Gray, who was born with hair like ash and eyes
She tells
like a
his story
storm.
now. Here we go again.
Once upon a rhyme in Norwin, as they say, when human beings were still new in the world, terrible monsters stalked the endless forest, eating anyone who dared to walk there at night. But there was one who dared, young Gregory Gray. Not a warrior yet, just a boy with fear in his heart and the will to try to overcome it. And with the courage that inspired all, he set out to slay the monsters.
Much better. Wouldn't you say? Look at those skis. Nice looking
Skis
skis.
of bone, bound by leather cords, Gregory weaved through the ancient trees as he hunted for the horrible things that stalked the night. Gregory saw their sharp teeth and hungry eyes, and for a moment, his heart wavered.
So far, so good.
The monsters retreated into the shadows, their growls echoing like whispers of warning. But the air grew colder, and the trees swayed, as if bowing to a force greater still.
That gets me every time.
A great howl rose, shaking the trees as the shadow blizzard descended from the peaks. A storm so fierce that none who entered had returned. Young Gregory Gray, though gripped by fear, saw the glow of monstrous eyes within the storm. Their nest lay beyond its icy wrath, and Gregory knew his fate. Face the blizzard, or let fear rule him. Tightening his bindings and gripping his blade, he whispered, "If I die, let it be as one who dared."
Very dramatic.
The villagers watched as young
Did we get
Gregory
there?
Gray returned alive. His deeds they told again and again, both the terror of the monsters and the heroism that earned him the name Gregory the Gray. This tale, the first of its kind, became a song, a story to inspire generations. I wish I could say that things had turned out better for Gregory the Gray, but you'll need to return here with another mythic to hear the rest. Maybe Sogvar will have more to say.
We've done this plenty with Sogvar, and that is A-okay for us, and maybe even, well, that's fine. So now, with 2 heals and a lot of health here, I think we can actually do this time and make some progress. So let's see how far it'll take us. And we'll collect our stuff back on this this track here.
Here, the famous chronicler Oddvar Maelstrom once wandered, chasing the echoes of the past and writing his observations down on fragments of parchment.
Oh, so much health.
Whispers of an ancient land. Won't you take my hand? In stories you'll stay with me. I want you to stay with me. Patiently, I need you to write for me. I'm running, 'cause I hear you calling.
Here we cover.
I'll come to you crawling, falling. Hold on to me. I'm running, 'cause I hear you calling. I'll come to you crawling, falling. Hold on to me. Angel
That's pretty good. That was fine. The Blizzard. I like Blizzard. I know you said it before, but Sogvar, of course.
With each gust, the white
Oh,
blizzard
shit.
rewrote the landscape.
Slightly different vibe here. Oh, Jesus. Whew. Is this Frogger? Oh my god. Wow. When you talk about getting locked in, that is it, man. You get in the zone in one of those tracks, and it is just nuts. That was straight fire. Lumberjack mode was real. Hello. Hey, I love the Super Mario Bros. Deluxe vid. Oh, thank you. That's nice of you to say. Appreciate you watching it. That was our newest review put up on the channel earlier in the week. Super Mario Bros. Deluxe on the Game Boy Color. Hope you enjoyed that. Sounded like you did. I mean, others is who I was talking to there. I was really locked in, and that's what I was talking about kind of more at the beginning, where when you kind of zone in and you have a grip on the controls and you are just sucked into getting it all done, and the levels moving so fast around you, and you have to do all these, you know, presses and motions in quick succession, that's when it really becomes that almost like transcendental thing, right? And you really feel how unique the experience is. So we've seen some of the rough spots where the tracks maybe aren't so well groomed. How about that? But man, is this fun. We had a blast with this, like I said, at PAX East when we first discovered this. Thrilled to have the opportunity to give it sort of this pre-release first look when it launches on the 26th. It's my opinion, one you should be keeping on the radar. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So it's awesome. Part of what is so great about what we do and get to do here at HypocriticGG from time to time is exactly this, where we go out into the world, go to trade shows and conventions like PAX East, PAX West, PAX Unplugged, and find really cool and unique and special and interesting indie titles that are maybe not as well advertised as others in the marketplace, and let people know about them. Give them an honest look for ourselves, and then give you honest opinions on whether or not it's worth your time or your money or something you should be potentially interested in. So this is a great example of exactly that. One of those cool, unique indie games that we stumbled upon and learned more about and happened to really enjoy. So when that review does come, again, probably Sunday or Monday, for fresh tracks, properly produced and edited and all of that, it's fair to expect probably a pretty high score for this one. We are really thoroughly enjoying it. Despite some of those difficulty squabbles, despite how punishing the journey mode can feel from time to time, which I guess might be the point, but especially on more casual difficulties, that threshold of continuing is a little bit tough. Challenge mode. Hook up the game audio to a massive sound system placed throughout the home. Full volume, full bass at 2 a.m. That sounds like a great way to get divorced. Or pre-divorced if you're not even there yet. That is something. Now, it does preface and tell you that controller is by far the preferred way to play this. You can do it on mouse and keyboard. Having tried it, I don't necessarily advise it. It is definitely a lot more logical on controller. So keep that in mind if you are looking into potentially getting this on PC. I can already tell you, the game tells you up front, please use a controller, and it's right about that. It is markedly less intuitive, for as intuitive as it may or may not be if you use mouse and keyboard. So that is worth keeping in mind. And also, it is a little bit more of a struggle here because I am using the Steam Deck in docked mode, outputting in 1080p here. So the performance and the smoothness and the overall fidelity will ultimately be better if you're playing on anything more powerful than a Steam Deck for a PC or console as well. So keep that in mind. Also, again, just to remind everybody, we'll do it again before the stream's over, but this is a pre-release review copy of the game that we are looking at tonight, courtesy of developer Buffalo and marketing firm, partners Stride PR. We do have a review copy of this, but we want to stress, as we always do, that the thoughts, opinions, and information that we're conveying here are entirely our own, independently created thoughts and opinions, etc. No one from Buffalo gave us either editorial guidance or compensation for this, so this isn't like a sponsored sort of thing. This isn't, a paid advertisement for the game or anything like that. Again, it's just something we found really cool at PAX East. Really, really enjoyed it. And they were gracious enough to give us a chance to give some formalized review thoughts on it and do some streams. So here we are. Just, again, for those who maybe don't watch as often or want that reiterated we are very serious about ensuring the sort of independence and integrity of the reviews of new indie games that we put out. So just to stress that, you know, this may be a review copy of the game, but there's no money changing hands here, no prescribed kind of advertising deals or anything like that. No editorial guidance. It's all our unfiltered thoughts. All right, so we go to the merchant here, and then we have a new boss fight, which we haven't seen
among
yet.
the few in Norwin who regularly traverse the endless forest, often to harvest fossil wood.
We're going to grab all of these. Nice amount of charms. We have a potion here that we can use if we run out of rhythmic boosts here. Let's keep it rolling. So this is a new boss fight again. No idea what's coming here. Stardust. Coda's version.
To captivate Thars and Dram, the mythics of laughter and tears, Sky had journeyed to the ruins of the Aurora Core.
Oh.
Dare enter the birthplace of the mythics!
If we'd known we were having company, we would have cleaned.
Sky watched as the ruins of the core seemed to come alive.
No one knows how the Aurora Core of old itself came to be.
I like to think it started with a really big sneeze.
What we do know is its song brought the mythics with it.
And there, we discovered the power to create.
We were limitless, unbound, and as one.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it did it again. This is the third time the capture card has crapped out on us tonight. I'm getting a little annoyed. Well, here we go again. We gotta go through all of the steps to fix it. So unless I just unplug the capture card directly and don't lose anything else. Beautiful background. Apparently I need like a... Remember we did a camera no work graphic when the camera was having trouble one night? Apparently I need something like that for the capture card. If I don't have to unplug the whole thing, that would be nice. And we're good. Okay. It's really that simple. Maybe not the most ringing endorsement for Elgato. Let's count us down. All right, this is no joke now.
The Aurora Core of old was a symphony of creation. Together, we sang stars into constellations, mountains into spires.
I made a fire-breathing squirrel.
The core was alive with light, harmony, and infinite possibility.
But infinite possibility invites impossible ambition.
And perfection has its cracks.
Spoiler alert, Dram. Let's stick to the happy bits for now.
Interesting.
that health.
The faster we created, the more the core began to change.
The ground trembled beneath the weight of our ambition.
Giving Celeste vibes with the music here.
With balance and control,
Ooh.
Sky danced to Far's and Dram's story song, a show-stopping lamentation to the Aurora core.
Bravo!
Fars, Dram, will you lend your voices to Sky's journey?
Oh, imagine the possibilities, Dram!
There will be bloodshed,
Pratfalls!
thunderous applause!
Peals of laughter!
Yes! We'd like to join you!
But first, dim the lights, cue the curtains, and prepare for the third act.
All right. That could have gone a lot worse. All right, it's kicking us back again.
Once upon a rhyme, as we say in Norwin.
A lonely puppet dreamed of becoming a real boy.
Now, Fars, our hero journeyed to the forgotten ruins of the Aurora Core, the birthplace of all stories and songs.
Still drawing a blank, Dram?
The final act of Sky's grand performance was set, a confrontation with Mar, Queen of Horror.
Oh, I know this one. The story where everyone dies at the end.
Not if Sky has anything to say about it. Now, armed with a flair for the dramatic,
And an exceedingly questionable sense of humor.
Sky had the mythics of laughter and tears to guide the way.
Ooh. Very nice. Okay. Act 2 completed. New paths have been discovered. Journey to venture farther. So it looks like, you see those dotted lines on there. Hopefully those are shortcuts that we can take, and it looks like they are. Because, okay, so you can eventually skip the boss fights here, and that will help. So you do have to go through each of those levels each time, which I guess is a little bit better. We've got Fars and Dram now. We've got the new stuff with the ski merchant. We've got new songs on the Lark, and I don't think we've looked at that yet. So you can see this is where you go to unlock songs at different difficulty levels as well. You can see you unlock Endlos at medium separately from Endlos at easy. Make of that what you will. And then a bunch of... So those are those boss ones? Yep. So 2 more, that makes sense. And I know there's very, very hard ones, even harder than these, which we may have to find over time.
I've been dreaming, hearing songs at night. Won't let the dark
The music's fantastic. I know obviously it's the bedrock of the experience. We haven't talked about it a ton explicitly, but the soundtrack is fantastic. It does cover a few different genres, so it's not just the EDM kind of stuff. There was the metal, there's more
kind of orchestral and the dramatic stuff that we were hearing a little bit at the end of that boss fight there. And all original. This is an entirely original soundtrack, composed by, if I pull up some of the notes here, let's see. It just says, rich genre-crossing 28-track soundtrack that surprises with each new beat and dynamically responds to your every movement, which it all does. So that's pretty cool. It is a great soundtrack, though. I think Vince or someone said before, oh, we gotta, wish list in the soundtrack, too. There you go, yeah. Soundtrack definitely wish listed. It is great. And I think it is getting formally released on Steam as a purchasable extra, so highly recommend, even if you're not super into the game or rhythm games in general or the idea of this sort of thing. The soundtrack alone is fantastic. I don't know what the pricing is going to be on it. I also am not entirely sure. Is there a price announced for this? I have to check on that. That would be good to know. Let's see. Fresh tracks. I'm just curious. I don't think it's on... There's no pricing on Steam yet, because obviously it's not out. 4 days now, because it's past... We've officially hit the 22nd here. I'm gonna have to look. At any rate, this is pretty solid. There weren't any specific restrictions on how much of the game we could or couldn't show, but I think this is a pretty natural stopping point for us here. And so as not to reveal too much, there is an entire kind of back half of the journey here, I think. So if you want to check it out for yourself, this is where we'll leave you temporarily. So that's a pretty good 2.5 hour chunk of the experience here. According to the materials that we have, if I read this correctly, it estimates story mode is about 10 to 12 hours of playtime. Now, assumedly, we're at the halfway point here, and that's about 2.5 hours, but you can obviously stretch that and, go into the lark here and play through these songs as much as you want, for as long as you want, and then it becomes, very much a rock band-esque endeavor, right? But that's a pretty good dive into this, I think, and should give you a pretty good idea of what the game is all about. So if you missed some of this, obviously the VOD will be there. Go check it out and experience as much of this as you choose to. And again, if you are interested, we will have a full review of this in video form posted probably Sunday or Monday. And again, the game launches on Tuesday, August 26th. So keep an eye out for that. And again, that is PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows PCs. In this case, again, we're playing it on the Steam Deck, so expect better visual fidelity and performance on whatever platform you ultimately play it on, if you're a little stronger than the Steam Deck. So again, just to reiterate, this is a review copy of Fresh Tracks, which launches August 26th, that we were given courtesy of developer-publisher Buffalo and Stride PR. Again, just to emphasize one more time, we did not receive editorial guidance or compensation from anyone associated with Fresh Tracks in any capacity. The thoughts and opinions we've been given here are entirely our own. And again, mostly driven by the fact that we found this at PAX East. We thought it was just so damn cool and wanted to give it a spotlight and some attention for all of you. So again, expect the video review probably comes Sunday or Monday. And spoiler alert, it's probably going to have a pretty high score. You're probably going to see a bunch of gloobies because it is great. There's little nitpicks here and there and some kind of progression issues that we talked about. Restarting the journey from the very beginning. Some overly challenging spots even when you're on lighter difficulties and some of that sort of thing. But we'll enumerate all of that. There's certainly a lot to love. And it is a very unconventional music and rhythm game in that sense. Kind of hard to classify in its own way because it is doing so many unique things, but I've sort of settled on action-rhythm-roguelite to sort of describe it in a couple bullet points. And I think that's a pretty fair description in terms of the rhythm game elements in timing and navigation, the action elements in combat, whatever that looks like, and the roguelite elements in terms of things like charms, the equipment that you get, and different things you can upgrade, you know, whatever that is. It's pretty good stuff. And I think for as much as it's balancing and doing so differently, for the most part, it pulls its disparate elements together really well. And like Full Metal was saying before, loving the visuals. It is a gorgeous looking game. The art style and how sort of soft and sometimes serene, sometimes abstract, sometimes intense it gets, it is wonderful to behold, and again, very unique. It definitely stands out, and to my mind, there's really not a whole lot on the market like it from any angle. That sort of more zen, not cozy approach. I wouldn't call this a cozy game by any means, but it is a little bit softer in that presentation, which is nice. Certainly unlike most rhythm games you're going to see, this is not Beat Saber, this is not Rock Band, though you can draw some parallels. And it was really fun to finally have this in our hands at home. I'd been thinking about it a lot, honestly, ever since PAX East, and I've been missing it because it was just such... How do I describe it? If you really do vibe with it, and you connect with what it's trying to do, and you wrap your head around the controls, and you sort of get immersed and fully locked in to a stage like I've been doing a handful of times, having that experience the first time at PAX East pretty much sold me right away. I was hooked and glued in a way that my cynical little soul doesn't often get hooked into things. And it's rare that you do have something as unique as this come your way and scratch so many itches you might love yourself. It hits a lot of those points that I personally love with, you know, like I said, things sort of just syncing up and everything happening to that underlying beat, and it all feeling so kind of coordinated and choreographed. It's just, it's so satisfying in that way. And it was really remarkable to check this out for the first time. So I'm just really, really glad that we had the chance to. And again, if this is on your radar, if this appeals to you in any way, it's just a few short days away from release. And again, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. More to come on this. Again, we'll have a review for you Sunday or Monday, and don't be surprised if there's even a little bit more to come with this after release. So that's all we're going to say. For now, thanks so much for tuning in to this review, copy-driven, pre-release first look at Fresh Tracks, the new action, rhythm, roguelite indie game from developer-publisher Buffalo out in Canada. Hope you enjoyed this look, and big thanks to everyone at Buffalo and Stride PR for letting us have this early look at it. Again, a formalized review will come probably Sunday or Monday, so get hyped for that. Hope you had fun. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been HypocriticGG, streaming live on Twitch and YouTube. I'm Lou, some call me Cheat Speak, and that's our look at Fresh Tracks. More to come in the next few days. Stay fresh, cheese bags. We'll catch you back here real soon.